every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good afternoon, CoreTV News on the hour. I am Tolu Ojewumi. Barely 24 hours after the visit of President Jonathan to Ekiti State as part of his campaign for PDP candidate Ayo Fayose, the APC rally meant to sweep the feet of PDP from Oluyemi Kayode Stadium was disrupted by mobile policemen. Our reporter Rashid reports that the procession of the APC leaders and supporters were disrupted outside the stadium by mobile policemen after they had swept the stadium with one person allegedly shot dead. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, President Jonathan has hinted on a comeback while presenting the People's Democratic Party PDP candidate to the people of Ekiti State. Jonathan says he wants to come back and commission state and federal projects under the government of the party's candidate Ayodele Fayose in the next 2 years.
I was in Ekiti State last when we came for the flag off of engineering. And since then, I have not come back to the state to commission project. I want to come back, the vice president want to come back, Senate president want to come back, and most especially our party chairman want to come back to commission projects that are meaningful. We want to come back in 2 years' time to commission both state and federal government projects in this state. We want to work with
In the meantime, President Goodluck Jonathan has promised a free and fair election in the forthcoming Ekiti governorship election. He made a statement when he led leaders of the People's Democratic Party PDP to present the party's flag to its candidate Ayodele Fayose. Rashid was there. He filed in this report.
The Oluyemi Kayode Stadium was filled to the brim by party members from Ekiti and neighboring states who gathered to witness the presentation of the party flag to Fayose. The Vice Chairman, PDP Southwest, and Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum say Ekiti election marks the beginning of reclaiming the Southwest from the All Progressives Congress.
Our candidate, Dr. Ayo Fayose,
the national chairman of the PDP, Adamu Muazu, and the Senate President, David Mark, while presenting the flag to Ayo Fayose, promised to put smile on the faces of Ekiti people, a statement which the party's governorship candidate reiterated.
I assure you that by the grace of the Almighty God, this is the beginning of the great beginning. And we are presenting to you a new, improved Ayodele Fayose as your governor. The name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then the Father of God that I will look after you. In the name of this party, the PDP, I am in the name of the party,
President Goodluck Jonathan, in his goodwill message, promised a free, fair, and credible election devoid of thuggery, rigging, and violence.
That will provide security. Don't be afraid that there will be talk. There will be no thuggery. We'll make sure that everybody casts his vote. One man, one vote. One woman, one vote. One youth, one vote. Anybody who brings stocks to Ekiti State is bringing that to his own detriment.
With the mammoth crowd recorded here today,
and the endorsement of Governor Ayo Fayose by President Goodluck Jonathan, it can be said like Ayo Fayose and every other candidate jostling for Okebareke office of the governor are fully ready to jostle for the seat, but the outright result of this mammoth crowd will be who will be announced as the governor-elect of Ekiti State. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
In spite of assurances from the military authorities, soldiers have continued to seal off the major newspaper distribution depots in Abuja. The operatives were said to have stormed the popular Area 1, where newspapers are distributed to agents and vendors across the Nigerian capital as early as 7 a.m. Witnesses who spoke off camera say soldiers came in trucks and prevented the agents from distributing newspapers for circulation. The situation had reduced the number of papers on the streets of Abuja, but many of the outlets devised other means of getting their publications out. The federal government has continued its clampdown on the media by stopping circulation of newspapers in some parts of the country. Osun State correspondent Bido Koro takes a look at the development in the state.
Following the reported seizure of some newspapers by the military, newspaper sales and distribution has been affected in Osogbo. Only a few vendor stands are open for business. There seems to be a growing fear of possible harassment by military personnel. Media affairs analysts Jamiu Olawumi and Adelani Badirinwa both criticized the clampdown, saying it is undemocratic.
It's a total negation of what democracy is all about. Because first and foremost, I think if there is an erring situation on the part of a newspaper, there are procedures, processes, the courts are there, and so many other things that could have been done, not outright seizure of newspapers right on the streets.
Take it beyond deprivation. Take it to the level of the expectation of modern army or military in a country that faces these security challenges. That you could not scan to look for arms, but send soldiers on the street to look for it in the newspapers. And you still call yourself giant of Africa. You still claim to fund the military. Then what pattern of funding? What are the priorities when we fund? What is competition, peer review between Nigerian military and other military organizations across the globe?
The publisher of Osun Defender, Kola Olabisi, condemned the act, saying it is a hindrance of the rights of Nigerians to have information.
The precipice. It's uncalled for when we are in a democracy. Even during the period that the late General Sani Abacha was calling that shot, we experienced this, the same thing when Ibrahim Babangida, President Babangida, the military president, Ibrahim Babangida, when he was calling that shot, the same thing was experienced. But now that we say there is a democracy, I see no reason why some people who cannot have their way, cannot be allowed to have their say.
Olabisi advised the federal government to take a more cautious approach. On visiting some newspaper stands in Osogbo, the newspaper vendors seem to be uneasy. Beat Okoro, CoreTV News, Osogbo.
The recent seizure of major newspapers by the military in Nigeria has come under heavy fire, even as public analysts and civil liberty organizations continue to condemn the action. Speaking during his visit to our station in Lagos, Tunji Abayomi says confiscation of newspapers in any country will constitute a threat to security.
It poses a great threat to national security. And that's the concern of a lot of people. Because if you see how Boko Haram is operating, it renders the military powerless and ineffective. And people keep asking the question, how is it possible? I mean, Boko Haram will be on a location for 4 hours, and they appear to be more effective in terms of information gathering, intelligence, than our military. So if the military is reacting to legitimate and reasonable criticism through the media, then it's an unserious military, in my view.
Joe Odumaki, a delegate at the ongoing national conference, also condemns the seizure.
It's a reminder of military dictatorship. Our heart grieves But the reason the security operatives is given will be good if it is better amplified, because one does not see the rationale behind it. Is reckless, is not in tune with democratic decorum, is not in line with what we fought for as a country that guarantees free press, that guarantees freedom of movement as enshrined in our constitution. The security operatives must remain civil, and those materials that are seized that has resulted in colossal loss of our resources. I think the security operatives have more explanation to give us, and there is the need for them to pay for the price, the loss that those medium have accrued, and also apologize to those people that have been unnecessarily harassed and intimidated.
Latest about South Sudan's nearly 6-month-old civil war. After this break, please stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching CoreTV News on the hour. For more information on our news and other programs, please visit us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter, our handle is @CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, www.youtube.com/CoreTV, Deliver Space News. Now moving on, a new round of talks on ending South Sudan's nearly 6-month-old civil war has been delayed, mediators say. No explanation was given for the latest delay in the talks. Officials say a 3-day multi-party symposium involving the government, rebels, religious and civil society groups would open at the African Union headquarters. Face-to-face talks between the warring parties will likely be determined after the symposium.
I'm going to be going to Addis Ababa on the 9th and the 10th of this month, where Ambassador Booth will also be. We hope that there will be a meeting between President Kiir and Dr. Machar in Addis Ababa. We know there will be an IGAD summit meeting where President Kiir will be participating. And we believe both of those events will be very important events in defining a path forward to a peaceful resolution of the ongoing conflict here in South Sudan. We're able to fashion an agreement that reaffirmed earlier commitments, not only to cease hostilities and cease fighting, but also to create the basis for negotiations to create a transitional government of national unity.
That's all. Thanks for watching. I'm Tolu Ojewumi. Up next, Core Digest. Good afternoon.